What's up, everybody? I'm Jason. This is the Freebird Garage, and today we are on part 3 of the chain conversion on my Harley Davidson FXR behind me. So let's get to assembling and get this thing done. The first part I need to get to is removing this seal here. Kit that we have upgrades to the 94 and up transmission here seal. So it replaces this sleeve and the seal behind it. Get upgraded. We're gonna remove that. I'm gonna try first pick set. There's another way to go before I go and do that. That's not budging. The other trick I was told about is that you take a couple sheet metal screws. We're actually gonna drive it into the seal itself. Went in the depth of the seal here. We do the other side. There we go. Worked perfectly. Didn't damage anything on the inside. Looks good. With the front seal removed, there is a seal behind here that's notorious to cause continuous leaks if you're trying to track it down. So I'm going to replace this as well. This is the quad seal. It's almost like it's hidden back here. It's easy to miss. So that's going to get replaced. And as well, the measurement between the distance of the main gear here and this race. And it needs to be 1/100th of an inch between each other. So I'm gonna mic that now to see what that's gonna run. So from the back of the gear here to this race. And I'm gonna lock it down. So we're over by 500 thousandths of an inch. I mean, everything on these things are precise. By the tech book for this FXR and this spacing, it specifically says 1/100th thousandths of an inch it needs to be. We're gonna fix that, and actually I'm gonna replace this. So we're gonna pull this off here, keep rolling. Okay, so removing this race, there's a specialty tool, and I went with the Jim's one. We're gonna use that to remove it and use this to install it as well. If you guys are ever wondering what Jim's tool this is, or wanna look it up, it's a Jim's 2013. We're gonna get this on, see if we can't remove this race. In order to get this breaker bar or the puller to stop spinning without just locking up the gears, I don't feel like putting pressure on the gears itself, we created this little breaker bar holder. What that does is that keeps this from spinning. Then I will put my socket on here, start to reef on it, and that will pull the race right off. Well, at least it's supposed to. So let's see how it does. There's the old one. You can see how it's worn out. Not too bad, not pitted. Probably was fine, but because there's a leak, I just want to replace everything on there. Here's a new one. They're all freshly cleaned up. And I went with the original Harley Davidson part number on there for replacement, knowing that it is going to be the same one. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier part of the video. The reason for replacing this is because the inner side bearing, I think, is leaking, and this race will walk its way to the inner side of the bearing, or inner side of the primary, or it can walk itself into this seal here, 5th main seal. That's a real pain. Luckily, it wasn't that way. Some scenarios, this thing has locked itself or drove itself so far into that gear for some of these bikes that you have to slice or you gotta pull out the trans to get this off. So it's better to be this way towards your inner primary than it is to be at your trans. With the race being removed, I got the transmission seal obviously gone as well. There is another seal beyond the quad seal, is this 5th main seal. This is a real son of a gun to remove. And it's one of those where you've already gotten this far, you might as well replace it. All right, got lucky on that. That's done. I'm gonna move over to now the gear seal here. Going over what we've removed so far, we got the transmission seal here, quad seal, the 5th main gear seal, the shifter seal. All been removed, so keep rolling at it. Press fit this seal in so far by hand, and there's oil from the ID and the OD on there covered. Now, you don't have to use these, I don't believe, but I wanted to make sure I have an even seal, so I actually have the Jim's tool 2268 part number on there for 5-speed seal, transmission seals in particular, to make sure it's even. Now, like I said, I'm not affiliated with gyms at all, but their tools have so far done extremely well with what I've had and the fit on this. Now, this is a particular seal too where you can go ahead and whack at it. I'm sure if you've done it 100 times that you have no problem, but I want to make sure I have a consistent seal, because if I whack it too hard, then you could damage the seal from the inside, the little lip right here. And I'd rather just have the consistency to make sure, knowing that it's evenly sealed. So probably a little bit overdone, but I'd rather just get it done the right time. Enough talking, I need to ram this into the seal. Perfect fit. Now, there's a lip here too when you go around it, and it actually says in the book that you need to have like 500 thousandths coming off on the lip here. And this tool gives you a good distance for that exact amount on here. So you can ram it and you say, all right, seal done, on to the next one. Now we're gonna do the 5th gear main oil seal, which is behind this gear right here. It slides underneath, so I'll pull it out. Now to get the new one in, right there, as you can see, the new one's a lot taller than the old one. It said from Harley that they upgraded it, which I actually bought this from Harley just because I wanted the original equipment to go back in. Now to put this on, it's notorious to cut the seal, the rubber part of that seal, if you don't mask this part off on the spine of the shaft and you're sliding it over. So what I did was I got Jim's tool, a 22561 tool, which is a 5-speed gear oil seal tool. You obviously don't need it, and probably to some it's overkill, but I just wanted to be precise because one, it comes with a sleeve that rolls over like that, and then this will give the perfect depth to the oil seal. So it matches up like that, and then on the top, it's got the correct height that seal needs to be at, or depth-wise, into the shaft. So you don't go too far in or too far out, and hopefully also keeping the rubber piece properly flared out on both ends and not rolling inside itself, which can obviously cause a leak as well. So this is very crucial. So let's get into assembling the seal and get her hammered in. I'm gonna install now the race here. Okay, I've decided a tool to press this on. There's no way you can do this by hand. Nice tight precision fit. Slide that over. Good there. Get our washers on. Okay, now it's time to mic it up. See if we're about 100 thousandths of an inch. Looks good to me. Okay, the actual chain conversion part. We have all the seals done, the race is done. Not normally done if you don't have any leaks, but because I'm already in there and I did have a leak, that's why we're going into it. So, which chain kit am I actually going with today? If you've been following since part 1, I never really have mentioned it yet, and that is Vulcan Engineering right there. That's who I'm going with, or went with here. I'm not sponsored by any means from them, but I just found and heard the recommendations that this company is really nice to work with. Their website is super easy to deal with. Their customer service questions I had were all just perfectly executed by them. I really like that when it comes to stuff like this, because you really don't know which way you want to go sometimes if you've never done it before. And they just help you out with the gear ratios, the chains, the spacers. Everything comes in one kit. It's all together. You're not buying the gear in the back, and then you're buying the sprocket somewhere else, and then you're buying the chain from somewhere else, and you're just trying to piece together. It's all in one kit, and for a very good price on their website, I found, as compared to other companies that are out there. But we're gonna go ahead and start installing this and get rolling to it. Wanted to know too, after unwrapping the whole package, that they have an awesome instruction sheet to make sure all the torque specs and where your spacers all align to. That's fantastic. That's nice to actually see a company do that and make sure that you do it to what they exactly are looking for. So we're gonna throw this on. Okay, install the sprocket, just like that. Put some oil on the back side. The nut, put on some Loctite. Time to torque this nut down. I got my essential lockup tool to make sure that doesn't move, and then big socket to make sure it all locks down. And to be clear on this, it's saying 110 to 120 foot-pounds. And I'm gonna work my way up. I'm gonna go to 100 pounds first to know I feel comfortable with that, and then from there, 110 to 120. So it's 110, now I'm moving up to 120. All right, 120. Front sprocket, transmission seals, complete. Covered a lot in this video on all these seals, pressing, all these different tools, and I went by the specs of the manual as well for this FXR, so everything is to what the book of what the dealership or whatever Harley OEM would do. You still gotta do the chain, still gotta do the rear sprocket, stator's gotta be put back together, inner primary, and all those pieces gotta be all back aligned. Now, I'm doing these videos as I am actually doing this. It's not just gonna be one snap, it's all finished. This is what it physically takes to get done. That's why there's so many parts of it. So I appreciate everyone that's been following along since number 1 or whatever part you came along. That about wraps up for me on this one. I would greatly appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button, tap that like, press the notification, leave a comment below and tell me what you think. For those that have already subscribed, thank you. And as always, stay free, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.